welcome to yet another FPL video, and things change so quickly. I keep on saying this, and yeah, I did activate my wildcard as I stated in my last video, or at least the title did, because I had a wildcard draft, but then I ended up activating it, and yeah, the draft is very similar to the team I have now. However, there are a few variables and things that I can change, and especially with James Rodríguez being out, we need alternatives, of course, and I'll be discussing all of that, the best things to do, or what should you do with James Rodríguez? Should you keep? Should you sell? It all depends, really. If you're in a wild card, well, we'll be getting into all of that. And since I made my last video, my Game Week 6 preview, almost losing count already, I had Roman Saiz play. He got 7 points, and he actually had a goal chalked off, and that would have been 2 more bonus points and a goal, which would have been an insane score. But can't be too greedy. I got 76 points overall. With the -4, it takes it to 72, and I've gone up in rank slightly to 86k. I believe I started Game Week 5 with 91, around that mark. So very good start to the season, and I can understand why some of you would be like, well, why are you wildcarding? What is the point? But you can still have a very strong start or a very good week and wildcard. And at the moment, if I'm being honest, there's just a few players who are just getting the hauls for me, or me captaining the right player, and that literally boosts my score so much. But at the moment, it's Son, Salah, and Kane, really, who are the ones getting the explosive points, or if not, Calvert-Lewin just consistently getting the points. But I wanted to change the structure. I wanted to sort out the long-term issues in my team and also the short-term issues. And just all of that prompted me to get a wildcard. Also, just bring in some great players who are massive upgrades on the ones I had before. So I'll be explaining my team, a selection, and also the players that I am undecided on. And just like in the last video, you lot helped me with your suggestions, and I'm still pondering over some of them, and I'll be discussing them here as well in more detail. But there's a lot to go through, and yeah, what do we do with James Rodríguez? Well, let's get straight into it. And the first player, obviously, in my wildcard team is Martinez, and he's been the best goalkeeper this year. There's no doubt about it. But it's only been 4 games for Aston Villa, and if we're being real, like apart from Liverpool, Leicester are a bit toothless. They had no Vardy. They also had a lot of injuries at the back. So it's not a full-strength Leicester side. And then the other 2 teams, Sheffield and Fulham, who look like they could be relegation candidates this season. And Sheffield have pretty much one of the worst expected goals, and also just goals in general scored by any team in the Premier League. And Fulham, pretty much something similar with them. And they're also poor defensively. But Martinez, it doesn't matter. He's still a good pick, and he's 4.8 million now. I brought him in just before his price rise. And look at the fixtures he has until Game Week 15. And I'm not expecting clean sheets in every single one of the fixtures rated green on the FDR. But I expect him to get some returns, even some save points or whatever. Like, even bonus points. He's a bit of a bonus point magnet, to be honest. And that's why, if you were to ask me, should I get Martinez or an Aston Villa defender? It's a tough one, and there's an argument for both. But I would say go with Martinez, because he would attract more bonus points from all the saves he makes and just how good he is. And yeah, with defenders, there are more options around the 5 million or 4.5 million price bracket. But with goalkeepers, there's McCarthy at 4.5 million. He is a good option, the best at that price. But with Martinez going up to 4.8 million now, he's still worth that extra 0.3. And yeah, you're not going to get much better for that price. And he's literally a set and forget for the rest of the season, unless he gets injured or Aston Villa just start shipping him 5 goals per game. But we'll have to wait and see. Martinez is a really good keeper. I trust him in real life. And Villa defence is one of the best defences so far this season. They've literally got one of the lowest expected goals conceded, and also they've conceded the least. They've conceded 2 goals, and it was to Salah, and they won 7-2 anyway. So yeah, Martinez is a bit of a no-brainer here. It's one of the easiest picks I've had to make. But like I'm advising you lot, do not expect him to get clean sheets every single week. It's not going to happen. It's unsustainable. But he can be a fantastic option at 4.8 million, no doubt about it. Moving on to the defence, and now this is where I've done the most changes. I've pretty much changed the entire backline except Roman Saiz. However, Roman Saiz could make way, and I know that sounds a bit weird because he is the highest scoring defender. But it's not just because of the rumours that people say, oh, Marcel's going to come back, and because Kilman's been so good, Saiz has to make way, and Saiz looks a bit uncomfortable at left wing back. But to be honest, Saiz is a bit of a bonus magnet as well at left wing back. And if not, he can play left centre back and he can score goals. I mean, just look at the goal he scored against Leeds. It's unfortunate that he got chalked off, but it was the right decision. But yeah, double Wolves defence, it might be a bit bold to double up on a defence, but Wolves have got the most clean sheets this season, along with Aston Villa. but still, there is a possibility that Saiss goes. Kilman, I'm not expecting him to be in the team long term, but he's been so good in the last 2 games. He's got maximum bonus points both times against Fulham and against Leeds, and he got the assist as well. I really like the look of him, and for 4 million, the only comparable option is the Leeds £4 million defender, which is Struijk, I believe. You just correct me if I got the pronunciation wrong, but yeah, he's playing in defensive midfield now, Struijk, and yeah, as long as Phillips is out, which could be up to 6 weeks, he's going to play in his position. That's what Bielsa said in his press conference, and if he sticks to his word, it's a bit refreshing to have a manager pretty much tell you what they're going to do. Like, well done, Bielsa, fair play. So, yeah, those are the 2 options at 4 million. At the moment, I'm going more towards Kilman, and I just trust Wolves' defence, and I would actually probably double up against Newcastle. If not, maybe just bring in maybe Target or Dallas and double up on Villa, or just get a Leeds defender, but I think I'm going to double up on the Wolves' defence for now. But if I do change my mind, I might get rid of Saiss. I think Kilman at 4 million, if he's a starter for the next few weeks or for even longer, he's just an absolute bargain. So yeah, he could be one of the best options this season. So I've got them 2 at the moment. Martinez in goal, very happy with that. Now I did make the switch, and like I kept saying, if I had a normal free transfer, I would not want to make a sideways move from Trent Alexander-Arnold to Robertson. But maybe there is an argument to say, is it really a sideways move? Because Robertson, in pretty much every single underlying stat, has outperformed him. He's got more touches in the box. He's got more crosses and from dangerous positions. All of this stuff. He's also got more goal contributions, more bonus points, more points. There's just a lot of things going right for Robertson. Trent is too deep. Because of his quality, he can cross in from pretty much the halfway line. But Robertson, he gets into some fantastic positions. And I have to say, also bear in mind that Sheffield, they concede so many goals from their right flank, or goals that are started or initiated from that side. And Robertson is obviously going to be his side at the left-hand side for Liverpool. So I think he could be very, very good against Sheffield. So can Trent, don't get me wrong. And like I kept telling you lot, whenever I get rid of Trent, he does so well. So yeah, don't be surprised if Trent gets a big haul. But Robertson also just $500,000 cheaper, or now 0.4 million, and Trent could go down in price. Yeah, I just think Robertson is the right guy to go for, and I got him in at 7.1. I didn't get him at 7, but yeah, he's in the team, and I'm going to analyse how Liverpool are defensively and also how Robertson is in the next few games, because if not, I could just downgrade to Chilwell and then spread a bit more money across my defence, maybe upgrade one of my bench players, who I'll discuss later. But yeah, Robertson, I have to say, even though he's 7.1 million, I know Adrian's in goal. They don't keep many clean sheets. I think it's 2 from 20 in the Premier League. They actually just kept a clean sheet at Ajax, which isn't an easy place to go, even though Ajax have been a bit lackluster. So I would still give the Liverpool defenders a chance. Fabinho isn't that bad, especially at centre-back. He can do a great job. And even if everyone's fully fit, I would actually play Fabinho centre-back with Van Dijk. But I'm not Klopp, I'm not the manager. But yeah, Robertson, still I think a fantastic option. Of course, the clean sheet possibility is eliminated a bit, or a bit reduced. But Alisson should be back soon, and Robertson will still get those attacking returns. So he is in my team for now, and I think I will keep him. But I can understand a lot of you have suggested to me, why don't you downgrade him and then get Ings, Grealish and Chilwell? You can have more money to spread around. I see the point, but I just back Robertson, and those 2 fixtures that are coming up, I don't really want to get rid of him for that. Now, for the midfield, yeah, this is where I've got a few problems. I already made one change. I'll discuss him first. Jack Grealish, I brought him in for Pulisic. And I did bring in Pulisic for a hit, but really the main reason why I did that was to get in Kane. But Grealish, I know he didn't produce in the last game, but he created 4 chances, and he creates big chances for fun. He is so advanced, and I think because Hurricane didn't play, Barkley played a bit deeper, and Barkley didn't have a great game, but he got the goal at the end, got the 3 bonus points, I believe. But yeah, I have to say, if I wanted to get one Villa player outfield, it has to be Grealish. Watkins at 6 million is a very good price, but Grealish for 7.2 million, like, it's very hard to turn that down. You're not going to get much better this season. And like I said with Martinez, the fixtures are just amazing. But I'm not going to be expecting him to return every week. When I had him last season, Grealish was a bit hit and miss. He would do well one week and then he would kind of go down the next week. But yeah, I expect him to be a bit more consistent this year, but do not expect 200 points or more than that. He could do it, but yeah, I'm not expecting that. He's 7 million for a reason. But yeah, Jack Grealish is in. And for those of you who have Pulisic, just because I got rid of Pulisic, it doesn't mean you have to. because Pulisic, I believe, will do well in the next few weeks, but you have to find a balance in your team. You want to just think, okay, which players do I really want? And to get in players like Ings and stuff like that, I can't have Pulisic at the same time, and also to have Robertson, Salah, Son, Kane, etc. It's very hard to balance your team and get everyone you want. Unfortunately, you can't get all those players, but Jack Grealish, I just think, is more cemented in that team. Pulisic is a bit more injury prone, and Villa's fixtures and form are much better than Chelsea. So Jack Grealish is in there. And yeah, on a wild card, could you get rid of one of the Spurs attackers? Well, to be honest, if the form they're in, I would not get rid of them. And I know their fixtures turn after the next three. They have a very tough set of fixtures after that. Very, very tough. But even if Spurs lose most of them, for example, do you think that Son and Kane are going to blank every single time? Not necessarily. I know there's going to be other options and stuff like that, but Son and Kane, I think you could keep them even throughout that difficult period. So I'm definitely keeping them. Son at 9.4 million now, still the best value option probably in the game. And then with Kane, not much more needs to be said. He could actually be my captain. It's between him and Salah at the moment, and his record against Burnley and at Turf Moor, very good. I think he's got 4 goals in his last 2 games at Turf Moor, and Spurs have really missed him in the last few visits to Burnley. But yeah, just look how consistent Kane has been. And it's not just the goals, it's the assists, it's the chances created, it's the underlying stats, everything. He's pretty much like De Bruyne mixed with Kane of old. And you can't turn that down for 8 million now. I actually can't believe his price has gone up that much already. I did get him in, I think, at 10.5. But yeah, Kane, fantastic player. And same with Son. They're both in my team. And and if they start falling off, there's other people you can go to. I can make the switch to Aguero, or I could downgrade to a £6 million attacker. If not, in the case of Son, I could go to Rashford, I could go to Bruno, I could go back to De Bruyne. I've got backup plans for all of these players, and that's the main reason why I wildcarded as well, to strengthen my team, my squad, my bench, sort out the long-term issues, and also I had plans after, just in case something like James Rodríguez happens, and I still got the wildcard to make that change. And speaking of the guy, James Rodríguez, I have to say, I'm very, can't say disappointed. I did say he is injury prone, and he was getting kicked all game against Liverpool, but yeah, it's a shame, because with no Richarlison, James is going to be so advanced. Him and Calvert-Lewin would be the must-owns of Everton, and I have both of them already. But yeah, the thing is, the reason why, I know it sounds crazy, I'm on a wild card and I'm actually considering keeping James. The reason why is because I have a strong bench who could just come in, even if it's just a few points, whatever. And look at the fixtures after that. Newcastle away, Man United at home, Fulham away, Leeds at home, Burnley away. Those are some pretty good fixtures, and not just that, James' form, fantastic. He's the most creative player in Everton, and in the league, I think he's second for most big chances created and most chances created. So it's hard to overlook this guy. He's 8 million, and another reason why I'm considering keeping him is because I would lose value, and I would probably want him back. So if I were to get him back after selling him, I would lose a few million. He'd cost 8 million for me. I got him when he was 7.5. So that would be a bit of a shame. So there is a possibility of me keeping him. And yeah, if I wanted to get rid of him, there's Zaha. Even though I have talked to some of you and I said he is a bit of a trap. He's got some good short-term fixtures. But to be honest, I don't have that much faith in Zaha compared to James Rodríguez. I would rather have James. And other people, I mean, there is Barnes, but Leicester are so lackluster. And I'm not saying Barnes is never going to score points, but I just wouldn't want him in my team, even though I did around game week 1 or 2. And apart from that, who else? I could get Barkley, but I don't really want to get too many Villa players. I've already got Grealish for that. I could upgrade to Rashford or Pulisic again, or Ziyech, or even Havertz. All of them are viable options, but I'd have to downgrade elsewhere. Maybe Danny Ings, definitely not Kane, maybe Robertson. But I don't know, it's just a tough decision. And at the moment, I am keeping him, but I want you lot to let me know, should I get rid of him? Should I keep him? Because he could be back by game week 7, and if he is, I think he's a very good long-term asset. And yeah, Everton will just thrive with him in midfield and on the wing. So yeah, at the moment I'm keeping him, but I want your feedback on what I should do with him. Moving on to Salah, no feedback needed for this guy. He's going to be my captain most likely. If not, it will be Kane. It's one of them two. But Salah's been very good this season, and even away from home, look at that, last 2 away games, he's produced 19 points between them. So yeah, there's maybe it's a bit of a myth about him not performing in away games. Definitely this season it's a myth. And he's got 2 home games coming up, one against Sheffield. And if you look at the probability percentages of, which players are most likely to score. Salah's top, or the player likely to score 2 or more goals. Salah's top again. And there's a reason for that. Sheffield have been one of the worst teams this season, and Salah has been one of the best players. Liverpool's attack has been very good. So yeah, at home, I think captaining Salah is a bit of a no-brainer, and I don't want to overcomplicate the captaincy. I've been getting the captaincy right the last few weeks. I captained Salah against Villa. I captained Kane against West Ham, and they both paid dividends. So yeah, hopefully my captaincy strikes continue, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Salah's just in my team. There's not much more that needs to be said. If you have him or Mane, yeah, they're both great captain options this week, pretty much. Now for my attack. Now, I have to say, I'm very happy with this attack on paper. You got Danny Ings, the new guy up front, and I know a lot of you have said there is Maupay, and I get that. There is Antonio, who you could get in after, let's say, game week 8, but Ings is so consistent, and I know Southampton don't create that many chances. Southampton aren't necessarily a great team, but Ings is the talisman. He has scored so many goals. Last season he scored 20 or 21 goals. This season he's already scored 4 goals. Only one of them was a penalty. With Maupay, if you saw the game against Palace, where Maupay played, he could have got so many more points, and his decision making was awful. And he's not a bad player. I'm not going to say that. But I don't know. He's just. If you look at Ings, for example, much better finisher, much better decision maker, and in the long run he'll get more points. Is it worth the extra nearly 2 million? Maybe not. But Danny Ings, what you know is that he's fixture proof. He can score in any game. He scored against Chelsea, for Christ's sake, and even against Everton and all these teams, he can do very well. I know the fixtures are pretty poor up until, a very long time, to be honest. He only has, on the FDR anyway, a very good end to the season. But for the middle period and the games coming up, not necessarily too great. But Danny Ings, so consistent, and like I said, fixture-proof. I think he can do very well. And he's also not owned by too many people. However, not really in my thinking ownership. I'm not really too bothered about that. But Danny Ings, I have to say, at 8.5 million or below, apart from Calvert-Lewin, I have to say one of the best options. There is Jimenez, but the thing I like about Jimenez normally is his assist potential on top of his goals. This season, he's only created one big chance, and last season he created, I think, 30 to 40. There's a big difference, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm more leaning towards Ings over Jimenez. But as for budget strikers, I could go Maupay, I could go Antonio, Watkins, but then again, I've got Grealish already. I'd have to change him. I could maybe just get Watkins and get a Chelsea midfielder or Rashford, but I'd have to tinker with my team. But yeah, Danny Ings, I have to say, one of the best striking options you can get. Calvert-Lewin, not much more that needs to be said. However, he produced against Liverpool once again, and I was expecting maybe for him not to score there. But there is no James Rodríguez, no Richarlison, so the supply won't be as good. But yeah, he could still score. You can't really go against this guy in the form he's in. He's still going to get a lot of chances. Of course, it's going to go down a bit compared to when he has James. But yeah, still in the long run, Calvert-Lewin, one of the best this season for sure. I'm keeping him. But I can understand why some of you would be a bit, leaning towards someone else. But yeah, that's just, for me, it's no-brainer. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Like I said with Salah, Calvert-Lewin is in. And as for my third striker, yeah, like I already talked about, Kane, he's in. He could be my captain. It's between him and Salah, and I'll let you guys know in the comment section below. And when I can use the community tab, I'll be posting on YouTube and upload my final teams with enough time for you lot to see. But yeah, at the moment I can't do that. I think I might have to wait a week, if not maybe more, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, it is how it is. Now, as for the bench, I could have Steer instead of Forster, but I might want that third Villa player, whether it's Mings or Consart or Target or Watkins or Barkley. I might want it. So that's how good Villa have been this season. So Forster's just in there. Not too much that needs to be said. I don't really trust Southampton defensively. He's not even going to play most likely. McCarthy's been doing okay. So yeah, Forster's just there, bench fodder. As for the rest of my defence, now this is another position that I want your feedback on. So Target, he's getting the clean sheets. I could double up in certain games for Aston Villa. So let's pick out a game, for example. I wouldn't say these two games. I wouldn't say double up necessarily, but maybe Brighton at home, maybe Newcastle at home, Burnley at home, West Brom away, Crystal Palace at home. maybe I could double up there with Target and Martinez, and that could be 12 points between them or more. And Target is actually taking some set pieces, although not very well. But yeah, he's taken some set pieces. And the other alternative really is Struijk from Leeds or Mr. Kyle Walker-Peters, but I don't trust Southampton's defence. So at the moment I've got Target, but I want your opinions. What should I do? I could maybe try save up some money and get Lamptey for 0.2 million, and he's got West Brom at home, which, to be honest, I'd probably start him, and I could bench James for that and put Lamptey on, but I'd have to find an extra 0.2 million because all of this that you see in front of you have eaten up my budget. I've got 0 million, I believe. But yeah, Target I've got at the moment, but I have to say Lamptey for his assist potential and also because of some of his fixtures coming up, especially West Brom. Lamptey could be the guy, but yeah, Target, long-term fixtures are good. Villa very good defensively, as I explained before. So why not? As for Basuma, I didn't want to overcomplicate this either. I could get rid of him and get another 4.5 million midfielder or even upgrade to Souček or something like that. But if I'm being honest, Basuma's done decent. He can get clean sheet point and get 3 points coming off my bench. He also scored a banger the other week, which was legendary and came off my bench. And also, he had the most shots, one of the most shots out of any midfielder in the last game against Palace. And yeah, he actually likes to have a long shot or two. 4.5 million, why think over it too much? And he's got some decent fixtures coming up. And even against West Brom, he could even be my starting lineup to fill in for James. Not ideal though, but yeah, Basuma, one of the best options at 4.5 million. There's not too many this season, to be honest. There's no Dendoncker like before or something like that. But yeah, Basuma's in there. And as for my final pick, Dallas. However, once again, this is a player that I could change. And why? Because there is still Ayling, and I know Ayling is playing centre-back, but he's still going forward so much, and Ayling statistically is better in a lot of departments than Dallas, but Dallas is at right-back and can play in midfield. He's got the freedom to bomb forward. Ayling, not really, but Ayling can still produce some points. Dallas has got an assist this season so far, but what should I do? Should I go for Dallas? Should I go for Ayling? Or should I go for that £4 million Leeds defender that I said, who's going to be playing in midfield in the absence of Calvin Phillips? Those are the three options there. I would want one Leeds defender, not really for the clean sheet potential, but mainly for the attacking threat. But they can get a clean sheet on top of that. The clean sheets will come. Not too much though, not like in the Championship, so don't expect that. So that's the other thing I want you lot to help me on. So just to recap, James Rodríguez, should I keep? Should I sell? And if you want me to sell him or if you recommend me selling him, who should I get in his place? And like I said, the main options in his place, I'd say, are a Chelsea midfielder if you can upgrade, or Rashford. And if not, maybe go to someone like Zaha or Grealish if you don't have him already. And Barkley. Barkley's a very good option as well. Zaha for the short term, I can see that, but long term, I don't know. Just Zaha always seems to be a bit of a trap. It's not necessarily a problem or fault of his. It's just the team he plays for just lacks creativity, and he has to carry them offensively. And the other things that I want you lot to let me know is, what should I do with Target? Should I get him? Should I get Lamptey by making money elsewhere? Remember, I have 0 million at the moment. Or should I get Kyle Walker-Peters in his place? So that's two things there. And the other one is Dallas. Should I get him? Should I get Struijk? Or should I get Ayling? If not, should I get someone else? Maybe Kyle Walker-Peters in this case or something like that. But the idea would be to have Robertson and Saiss playing most weeks. And the third player would be between Kilman, Target, or whoever I have, and Dallas. So that would pretty much be the plan. These four would play pretty much every single week. And these front three would play every single week as well. Unless the fixture is so good for the defender and so bad for one of the attackers or midfielders that I make the switch, but most likely it's not going to happen. So yeah, 3-4-3, I think it's the way to go this season. And I've been playing 4-4-2 mainly, and I've been doing well. It's not so much a thing about formation though, it's also the players. I wanted to get some players in like Grealish, like Ings and stuff like that, and Robertson, Martinez, and Grealish. So yeah, I think I've said them already, but yeah. A lot of things to think about, and like I said, the James Rodríguez thing kind of changes things, and it shows why sometimes being patient and waiting until the deadline, it's very important. And remember, it's an early deadline tomorrow, and so yeah, get your team sorted out by then. I need to make these decisions before the Friday deadline. There's a lot to think about, but very happy with my team overall. Most of this should stay the same, but there could be a few key changes. Maybe Ings, maybe James Rodríguez, maybe one of these bench players like Target, Dallas. etc. So yeah, a lot to think about. But let me know down in the comment section below what you would do and what you think of my team. And also, if you need any help, any suggestions, any advice, or just discussion, then post anything down in the comment section below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications for future videos. I'll be posting more UCL fantasy and FPL videos every single week. But yeah, good luck for game week 6. The international break is coming soon again, but still a few game weeks before that. And yeah, a lot of key decisions to be made. And will keeping Hammers be the best thing to do? And I have to say, if you're not on a wild card, I would probably keep Hammers if you have someone good on the bench. Otherwise, yeah, maybe get rid of him for someone else, one of those players that I said, and you can get Hammers in again. But remember, you probably will lose some value in him, and that's a bit of a downer. But yeah, some tough decisions to be made, like I said. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.